You're welcome to my channel. So today we are making this Boubou top. It's a Boubou top that has scrub neckline, scrub V neckline, and it has drawstring by the sides. So you'll be needing 1.5 yards to 2 yards depending on your body size, right? And it comes with the palazzo trouser. So that palazzo trouser tutorial will be for another day. We're going to be using vintage fabric. You'll be needing your bust measurements and your top length measurement and your sleeve length. So I have my 2 yards, right? I folded it using the length, then I'm going to fold it again using the width. I'll make sure I have my desired sleeve length. So I was aiming to get 25 inches, but I want to add band to that 25. So I'll be working with 22 inches to 23 inches. So I'm going to cut off that excess, right? After cutting out the excess, this is what I had. So straightforward, I'll just go ahead to mark out my neckline. I know you won't be able to see it because of the color of the fabric, but I'll explain. I'll try my best to explain. So I'll be using 3 inches width for my neckline, and the depth will be 2 inches. So I'll form my round neckline. Please use 3 inches or 3.5. 3 inches is actually perfect for any body size, but in case you want it to wider, you can use 3.5, but I advise you use 3 inches. Then I'll go to this other side. So I want to measure my width, right? So for the width, I had 23 inches. Then at that side that is not closed, I'm going to measure my sleeve length, what I want for my sleeve opening, right? You can use 10, 11, 9, depends on your choice. But for this case, I'm going to just go ahead and mark 11 inches, right? And for your sleeve length, all you need to do is just measure from your middle back to where you want your sleeve to stop. So I'm going to extend that line inward, and on that line, I'm going to impute my client's bust measurement divided by 4, and I'm going to add 5, right? So I had 16, and I decided to just add 1 more since I'm going to be working with drawstring. But you might just leave that 5, and from that 5, you take out your drawstring allowance. So I marked 16, and I later on added 1, then that makes it 17. So that's 17. I'm going to make sure I have the same sleeve length around that side. I'm at 11, right? I have 11, right? That's 17 inches. I'm going to take it down to the end of my fabric. This Boubou top is so easy to cut. You cut your kaftan Boubou. That's the way it's been cut, right? This scrub neckline, I wasn't able to film the process of stitching because I was so tired. As you can see, I wasn't even able to cut on the floor on that day. To put a link in my description box that is going to take you to tutorial on V scrub neckline, so you're going to see how I stitch the neckline on that video. The 17 inches downward with a straight line. Please, if you have a ruler, a long ruler, use it, right? Good. So basically that's it. So let me re-explain what I did. So neckline 3 inches by 2, form a round neckline. Go to this other side, measure your sleeve opening. I measured 11, and inward of that 11, I imputed my client's bust measurement divided by 4 plus additional 5 inches, and I took that measurement downward like this. Basically, that's all what you need to do. Then I'll just go ahead and cut out my piece. Cut out the round neckline first, right? And then afterwards, you cut your sleeve opening and the bodies. So that's all you need to do. So after cutting, this is what I had, right? Then you see I'm going to open it up in such a way that my sleeves will meet. Just open it. You open it in such a way that your sleeve will meet and the bodies will meet. And after you've done that, you'll be forming a C. For the neckline, will form a C for you. So watch carefully how I do that. I need to make sure they are equal so that you'll be able to cut out your scrub V neckline. So I have mine here, right? So what you now do is you mark the length you want your scrub V neckline to be from your middle of your piece, right? So basically I want it to be 6 in total. Depends on how deep you want it to be. I'll mark 6, right? And on that 6, I'm going to mark 1 inch inward, but I forgot to do that. So you mark 1 inch inward first, and then you form your V neckline, and then you cut out. But I forgot, I just form a V neckline. So in case you don't want a scrub neckline, you want to bias your neckline, you want a V, you still do the same process. You just mark where you want and form your V neckline and cut it off like this. So basically, you might want to do yours for V neckline. So this is how you go about it. Round neckline, So now let's do the scrub neckline, like I said. So where that depth you measured for your V neckline, you are going to mark 1 inch. Where you open up, you have 2 inches, right? So that 1 inch, you now take it back to meet your round neckline, and then you cut out. So I'm going to show you how to do it straightforward, so that you won't be confused, right? Another tutorial that I did. So you see, you fold it, right? You go down by the depth you want, then inward you are going to mark 1 inch, and then you join it to meet with a slant line like this, and you cut out. So that's how you mark your V scrub neckline, right? So that's what I did, it looking like this. And when you open up your fabric, take it, you see you have it like this, right? Back to our material. Please, I'm going to measure what I have for my neckline, excluding that 1 inch part that will give you 2 inches when you open. Measure, you are going to cut out a piece that is 2.5. After folding, you get 2.5 inches, and then you stitch around the neckline, excluding that down part that we marked 1 inch, right? But you just go down a little bit by 0.5, and then you stop there for both sides. So I'm explaining now because I didn't get to film that part. I'm going to put a link in my description box that will take you to a tutorial that I did that is on V scrub neckline. So the stitching of the V neckline is also there. So after measuring what I added 5 inches, so that will be the length of my band, and the width should be 2.5 because you'll be needing 0.5 inch for stitching. For the neckline, I also cut out band to complete my sleeve length, which is going to be 25, right, or more. So you make sure the length is times 2 of your sleeve opening, right, and any width you want. Stitch my V scrub neckline here. I already overlapped it. I've stitched it together, and I'll just cut out the piece. So the edges, you will weave the edges, right? You are weaving the edges. So, and I've already stitched my band to the sleeve area like this. So I'll just cut off the excess, and then I'll go to my sewing machine. I'm going to hem the down part of each piece separately. You fold in the allowance you want to use, and you hem. So after hemming, I stitch the bodies together. You hem the down part first before you stitch your bodies together, right? So I'll be creating a notch around the armpit area for both sides. And now for the sides of the Boubou top, I used 1 inch sewing allowance. You can use 1.5, you can use 2, and you can as well weave each side before stitching if you have a weaving machine. I'm going to measure where I want my drawstring effect to start from at the down part. So initially I marked 10, but while I was sewing, I increased it to 16 inches. So you can use anything you want for your drawstring length. So you just mark, but you're not cutting, just make a marking so that when you're stitching, you will know. Set 4 ropes for the drawstring. You can use any length you want. You can use the full length of the fabric to make 2 ropes, and then you divide it into 2. Or you can make use of a length that is longer based on your choice. What I'll do is I'm just going to take in the rope inside, and I'll fold and stitch. But if this is going to be hard for you, you can just fold in the edges of this allowance and stitch. That you've created a drawstring casing, right? So you've done that. But me, I'm just going to, so this is where I was dividing the ropes, right? So I'll just place it inward like this, then I'll fold in the allowance, and I'll stitch the sides, and I'll make sure my rope is at the upper part is more than that 15 inches or 10 inches that I marked, right? So I'll do that for both sides, and when I'm done, I'll now stitch the upper part, making sure that the ropes are excess above my stitch. So I've stitched the 2 sides, and I've stitched the upper part. So you see, I stitched the upper part. I'll show you guys. So I've stitched the upper part, and I make sure that the rope had excess after the stitching that is at the upper part, so that when you draw your drawstring, it's not going to pop. You will not remove the rope. So using that stitch up there to secure your drawstring ropes, right? So basically that was how I made the Boubou top. So I'm going to put the link for the neckline stitching in the description box, and it's also a Boubou. You get to learn from that one also. So how it look, you can actually wear it without drawing the drawstring, it's also fine, and you can wear it with drawing the drawstring, guys. So this is the final result. It was for a client, not for me, but I made one for myself. I'm going to post a video about that one later on. For watching the palazzo trouser will be part 2. I'm going to post it after this, by God grace. Thank you all for watching. So like I always say, if this video has been helpful in one way or the other, don't forget to give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, drop your comment, turn on your notification bell. Right, so thank you for watching. I'm going to see you guys in another video. Bye.